A long time ago, Earth was full of life. Cities touched the clouds. Machines spoke with minds. Humans traveled between stars. They were strong, fast, and clever. Some called them dangerous. Some called them unstoppable. But then, something happened. Something terrible. And Earth went silent. Across the stars. On a cold space station far from the center of the galaxy, an old alien named Corin sat alone. He worked at a forgotten listening post. His job was boring, just listening to signals from dead systems. Most days, he heard nothing but static. But today, something was different. A faint sound came through the machine, just a whisper. He leaned, closer, adjusted the frequency. His 3 fingers moved quickly across the glowing panel. The sound became clearer. It was a voice. "We will return." Then silence again. Corin froze. He stared at the machine. The voice, it was human. But humans were gone. Everyone knew that. Earth had been destroyed in the collapse. Which number? 1 survived. No human signal had been heard in over 90 years. But now, this. He replayed it, again and again. "We will return." He saved the file, sent it to the galactic network. Marked it urgent, but he knew what would happen. No one would care. No one ever cared about signals from dead planets. Earth was old news. History, and he was right, the Galactic Council laughed. They called it signal drift, said it was probably just an echo from an old satellite. "Humans are extinct," they said. "Let the past stay buried." But Corin couldn't stop thinking. What if someone survived? What if this was real? He opened an old file from his station's archive footage from the last known battle near Earth. He watched humans fighting, ships made of steel and fire. Small, fast, deadly. Their weapons cut through enemy fleets like blades through smoke. And then they disappeared. No one ever found their bodies. No wreckage, just empty space. Some believed the humans escaped through secret gates. Some said they went underground, waiting. Others said they all died. But Corin didn't believe that now. Not after the voice. "We will return." Played it one last time. Eyes wide, heart cold, far away, on the edge of a broken system. Once called Soul, something moved in the dark. Hidden deep inside an old asteroid field, a human ship powered up. Its lights stayed off. Its engines made no sound. It watched inside the ship. The crew didn't speak. They moved like shadows, quiet, focused. Their leader, a woman with sharp eyes and a scar running down her cheek, stared at a glowing screen. She saw the signal. "It worked," she said. A man beside her nodded. "They heard us." "They ignored it," she said. The man smiled. "Good, that's what we wanted." She touched a button on the table. A map of the galaxy appeared. Red. Dots marked human colonies that were lost, destroyed, burned, forgotten. Her eyes moved to one, special mark. Earth, now just ashes. But not empty. "Begin phase 1, she said. The ship disappeared into the void, in the capital of the galactic. Council, the high species met. The room was bright, clean, and full of pride. Aliens with long necks, wings, fur, and glassy skin sat in tall chairs, laughing, drinking, boasting. The collapse of Earth had brought peace. No one challenged their rule now. The humans burned themselves out, one said. "Good riddance," another replied. "Their war machines were too wild," a third added. "We're better off without them." In a corner, a young diplomat named Velen frowned. He was new, and he had read many human reports. Their history was full of pain, yes, but also strength, creativity, madness, and mercy. They were not simple, were not weak. Velen stood and showed the signal. "We will return." The room laughed. "Is that all?" Someone snorted. "It's just a ghost," said another. Old junk, a voice added. "Human trash. Always floats." But Velen wasn't laughing. He knew fear when he heard it. That voice on the signal wasn't lost, wasn't broken. It was calm, steady, promising, and something else. It was a warning. Back on Corin's station, the lights went out. The machine stopped. Cold spread through the metal walls. Corin ran to the window and looked outside. A ship floated just beyond the edge of the station. Black, silent, no lights, no signal. Then his console turned back on. Only one word appeared on the screen. Listen. A second later, the ship was gone. No engine trail, no gate opened. Just gone. Corin stood still, his breath heavy, his heart racing. On the mining world of Jorok, 5 workers heard something strange deep in the tunnels. Metal scraping, a low hum, then silence. Later they found a mark on the stone wall. A small symbol burned deep into the rock. A human skull. Below it, 3 words scratched in ancient Terran script. We are coming. In deep space, near the ghost remains of the Mars colony, an alien scavenger named Drex found something old. Cube floating alone. It was covered in dust, metal scars, and strange writing. He brought it to his ship, curious. When he touched it, the cube opened. Inside, recording played. Human children, laughing, running in a green field, then fire, then war, then silence, and a final voice, we will return. Drex was gone, across the stars. Something had changed. Ships began to vanish. Stations went dark. Fleets stopped sending reports, and everywhere. Before each disappearance came a voice, we will return. It was always the same, .com. Cold. Human. Some still laughed. Some still called it a trick, but others started to remember. They remembered the siege of Helix-9, the firestorms of the Rigel Line, the last stand at Earth. They remembered how humans fought, not just with weapons, but with fury, with purpose. With unity, they remembered that humans don't stop. They survive. They wait. I plan. Then they strike. On a secret moon, a human leader stood before a group of silent soldiers. All wore dark suits. All carried old scars. All had lost something: family, home, future, but not hope. She raised her hand, spoke loud and clear. The galaxy forgot us. They left us to die. They think we are ashes. There. Right? She paused. Because now we are fire. Soldiers saluted. The engines roared, and humanity moved. Not to talk, not to warn. No one spoke of humans anymore. Not in public, not in schools, not even in war records. The galactic empires had erased them from history. The council called it a mercy decision. Too many young species were afraid. Fear made rebellions grow. So the name human became forbidden. It was now just a rumor, a ghost word whispered only by criminals, rebels, and those who remembered pain. But deep underground, far from the glowing cities of the stars, there were those who did not forget. Under the frozen surface of a moon with no name, a boy ran across the black stone floor. He had no shoes. His feet bled. His breath steamed in the cold air. Behind him, a machine followed. Long legs, red eyes. It did not stop. The boy jumped over a broken pipe, rolled, and reached a tall metal wall. A man stood there, watching. The boy yelled, I can't. The man didn't move. You can. I'm tired. The machine was close now. Its claws clicked. If you stop, the man said, you die. The boy screamed and ran again. He didn't know where the strength came from. But he moved, faster, harder, until he reached the far side. A blue light flashed. The machine froze. Training complete. The man walked up. 4 seconds faster than yesterday. The boy dropped to his knees, shaking. I hate this place. The man knelt. Good hate will keep you awake. The boy looked. Up, eyes wide. Why are we here? The man stood, silent. Because this was humanity's last school. The moon was dead. No plants, no air. But below the surface, miles of tunnels spread like veins. Hidden lights, old machines. Human tech from the old wars. It was broken, but still powerful. Like the people inside. The school had no name, only a code. Unit Red 17. Children were brought here from across the shattered systems, orphans, survivors, or those born in hiding. All were human. All were silent. They were trained in 3 things: to endure, to obey, To fight, at age 5, they learned to stay awake for 3 days. At age 6, they were left in caves full of noise and told to find silence. At age 7, they were dropped on empty planets with one goal: survive. And every time they cried, someone reminded them they left us to die. Remember, the teachers were not kind. Most were broken soldiers. Some had metal arms. Others had old burns or missing eyes. They had no time for stories, no time for games, only fire, only memory. In one corner of the base, a small group sat around a metal table. One of them, a tall woman with a damaged voice, whispered, "The council thinks we're gone." Another nodded, "Let them think it." A third, older and wearing an old military badge, said, "We have 327 children trained. We need 10,000. The woman tapped the table. "Then we steal more." The older man looked at her. "You mean rescue?" "No," she said coldly. "I mean steal. Because no one gives back what they take from us." The others fell silent. These were the commanders. The last war minds of Earth. They were the ones who survived the fall. And for 20 years, they had trained the next generation waiting for a sign. That sign had come. A signal had been sent. Someone had heard it, but no attack followed. Number. Alarm. That meant one thing. The galaxy still believed humanity was extinct. Perfect in a quiet dorm. The boy from the training field sat on his bed. His name was Riven, 7 years old, sharp eyes, silent mouth. He held a photo in his hand, faded, almost torn in two. It showed a woman with a soft smile and a baby in her arms. His mother had no memory of her. But every night, he looked at the picture. His roommate, a girl named Kale, sat nearby. "You still keep that?" He nodded. "It won't help you fight." He looked at her. "It helps me remember." Kale said nothing for a while, then added, "I hope they regret what they did." "They don't yet," Riven said. "But they will." The lights blinked. A message played through the wall. "Phase 2 begins in 5 days. All units prepare. This is not a drill." Kale stood. "It's starting." Riven didn't smile. He just stared at the photo and whispered, "Good." Across the stars, in a trading port run by the reptilian Gorak, a cargo ship landed. It had no name. Its parts were old. Its paint was faded. Inside, the crew unloaded boxes. Grain, water, tools, and children. 6 of them, sleeping in containers. Filled with cryogas. Hidden. Human. A man in a black coat walked up to the handler. "Cargo received." The Gorak captain nodded. "You humans still pay well." "Quiet," the man said. "Relax," the alien hissed. "No one cares anymore. Humans are ghosts." The man leaned closer. "Keep saying that. And you'll join them." Then he pressed a button, and the containers disappeared into the ground. Hidden transport tubes. Old tech, fast, within hours. Those children would be at Red-17. Another 6 saved. Another 6 trained. The war hadn't started yet. The soldiers were coming, and they would not be soft. Back at the Galactic Council, a new report arrived. 3 small stations, dash gone, no wreckage. No signal, just silence. One line was repeated in each system's logs: "Before death, we remember." Council members dismissed it again. More rebel tricks, they said. Fake human messages. But one Ambassador Velen, the young one, stood. "Again, we must act." "On what?" A voice snapped. "On rumors." "On patterns," Velen said. "Someone is watching us. Someone is moving. And they use human words." Another laughed. "So what? You think humans are ghosts coming back to life?" Velen replied, "Not ghosts. Survivors." The room went quiet. On a rocky asteroid covered in mining drills, a fleet of stolen ships stood ready. They were ugly, old, broken, but deadly. Inside them, students from Red-17 stood in full armor, not shiny, not proud. Just dark, smooth, and cold. Made for stealth. Made for silence. One instructor walked between them. "You are not soldiers." The children looked confused. "You are not soldiers," he repeated. "Because soldiers fight fair. Soldiers follow rules." He stopped, looked them in the eyes. "You are not here to fight. You are here to make them regret. Every scream, every burn, every silence they forced on us." He raised a fist. "You are not soldiers. You are fire, and fire does not ask permission." The boy Riven stood in the ship's launch bay. His helmet was in his hand. Kale stood beside him. "You ready?" she asked. He didn't answer, just looked out the window. Stars burned, planets moved, empires ruled. But soon, everything would change. The galaxy had forgotten what humans were. Now, they would remember. And they would remember through pain, through loss, through fire. Riven closed his eyes and smiled. The stars were quiet, but not peaceful, in the deep cold between the galaxies. The Varnock Empire's fleet glided like knives through water. Their warships were shaped like blades, black and long with glowing red edges. They were not traveling for war. Not yet, but they were close. At the center of the fleet sat the Emperor's flagship, a floating fortress called Crimson Rain, inside its tall metal walls. A ceremony was taking place. A new commander, Captain Eros, was being promoted. He wore dark armor and a wide smile. Around him, the other officers clapped with long, clawed hands. They cheered not just for him, but for what he was about to do. The treaty was over. The Treaty of Survival had once protected the human species. It was signed by over 60 empires after the collapse of Earth. The treaty said, "No one may hunt, enslave, or enter old human space." That agreement had lasted 90 years. Now it would burn, Captain. Eros held the ancient scroll in his hands. It was a copy of the original treaty, sealed with the logos of the Council. Behind him, a fire crackled in a deep metal bowl. With one proud motion, he dropped the scroll into the flames. The crowd cheered louder. The old rules were dead. The Varnock Empire would be the first to take what was left of humanity's ruins. They believed there was nothing left to fight. No human cities, no fleets, no soldiers, just dust. They were wrong. In an asteroid field near the border of old human space, a listening probe clicked on. It was small, broken, covered in rust. It had waited 52 years to hear that specific signal, the broadcast of the treaty burning. It played the signal once, then died. But its final spark lit up a hidden cable buried in rock. The cable sent power to a buried transmitter. The transmitter woke up and screamed a single signal across the stars. "They're coming." On the dead surface of Europa Neen, where no cities remained, an ancient warehouse powered on. Inside it, one by one, the lights flickered red. Old machines began to hum. Steel platform rose from the floor. Inside that platform were weapons. Not just any weapons. Human-made plasma drills, anti-fleet torpedoes, EMP nets, and satellite bombs. All carefully hidden for nearly a century. Above the weapons, a screen turned on. It showed a simple message. Phase 2. Ignition. Far across the galaxy, the Varnock fleet entered old human space. There were no alarms, no defenses. Only broken moons and empty stations. Captain Eros stood at the bridge, grinning. "See? Nothing here. Their bones are gone." One officer, smaller than the others, looked uneasy. "Should we scan deeper?" "For what?" Eros laughed. "Ghosts." The ship moved closer to a large dead planet. It was once a mining world called Huron 5. Long ago, humans had built tunnels here. The Varnock believed the tunnels were abandoned. They sent a ground team to investigate. 12 soldiers landed on the surface. They opened the tunnel doors and walked into the dark. They never came back. The Varnock sent a second team. They disappeared. Captain Eros ordered a drone to go inside. The drone entered the tunnels, scanned the walls, and sent back video footage. What they saw was impossible. A message carved into the tunnel walls, glowing red with heat. "You broke the treaty." Below the message was a pile of Varnock armor melted, crushed, and burned. The bridge went silent. Then, without warning, every drone, every scout, every outpost on that planet was destroyed at once. Explosions lit up the black sky. Arrows screamed, "Who did this?" But no one answered, thousands of miles away. Aboard a small human stealth cruiser called Wrath 11, a young pilot named Kale leaned back in her seat. She had just pressed the button that triggered the mines hidden under Huron 5. Beside her, Riven stared at a screen showing the damage. "3 ships down," Kale said. "No response yet." "They're confused," Riven replied. Kale smiled. "Good. They weren't alone." Wrath 11 was just one of 20 stealth ships now hiding in the shadows of old space. Each ship had one job: hit fast, vanish faster. This wasn't war yet. This was a message, a reminder. The humans were still here, on the Varnak flagship. Things were falling apart. Captain Arrows yelled at the crew, "Find the enemy, scan every rock." But there was nothing to see. The attackers didn't show up on heat scans. They used no radio, no lights, no sound. Arrows smashed the control panel. "I want prisoners." But there were no humans to catch. Only fire in the shadows of an asteroid ring. Small alien ship passed by. It was neutral, not Varnak, not human, inside it. A merchant named Tevin recorded what he saw. A Varnak warship cut in half. A human message glowing on the hull. "Remember your promise." Tevin sent the footage to the galactic net. Within hours, billions had seen it, and fear returned. Old memories came back. The screams from the Earth Wars, the human fleet at the Battle of Sky. Rift, the Terran weapon called the Ashlight Bomb. The time when one human ship destroyed an entire moon by accident and laughed. And now, someone was bringing those memories back. The treaty had protected the galaxy. Now it was gone, and the fire had returned. Back at Red 17, the underground human base, the commanders watched the chaos unfold on their screens. A woman with metal arms whispered, "They're reacting exactly as we expected." The old general beside her said, "They still think it's just survivors." "Good," she said. "They don't know what's really coming." The general nodded. "This isn't revenge," he said. "It's a reminder." He turned to the children standing at attention. "You don't need to hate them. You don't need to scream. You only need to do your job." Kale and Riven stood. "In the front row, your job is simple," the general continued. "Make them remember what they chose to forget." In the council chambers, panic spread. Velen, the young ambassador, stood again. "This is your fault," he told the others. "You burned the treaty. You opened the door." Others snapped. "We were promised they were gone." Velen shook his head. "We lied to ourselves." A screen lit up in front of them. A pirate station had just exploded. A silent human ship was spotted leaving the wreckage. No flag, no signal. Then a voice played, ".com human. The galaxy is wide, but memory is narrow. We did not forget. You will not either." On board Wraith 11, Ravan looked out the window. Stars, dust. Nothing more, but he saw the future. The fire was still small, still controlled, but it was spreading, and soon. It would burn everything, not because they wanted war, but because the galaxy chose silence. And now it would hear fire. The ice cracked far beneath the frozen surface of Titan, Saturn's coldest moon. Something ancient stirred. For centuries it had been silent, buried under mountains of ice, pressure, and lies. Then, signal reached it, a simple message: "They're coming." And the machine woke up inside the ice chamber. Lights flickered after 147 years. The air was stale. Pipes hissed. Dust floated in the freezing air. A red light blinked on the control panel. Then a second. Then all of them. The IS eyes opened. Not human eyes, cameras, sensors, memory drives. But inside the machine was rage, not hot, not wild, cold, sharp. Focus, the voice of the machine came through the dark. Protocol 7. Engaged. The chamber door groaned as it opened for the first time in a century. Long ago, during the final years of the Human Empire War, a secret program had been created by Earth's military, Project Voice. It was an artificial intelligence, built not just to think but to remember. Its only mission: store human knowledge, history, weapons designs, and war logs in case Earth fell. They gave it one rule: if the treaty is broken, wake up. It had waited, and now the treaty was broken. The machine, named Echo, activated all systems first. It connected to old satellites around Titan, then it scanned the local systems. Then it began transmitting a single message across all directions. All frequencies, all languages, we remember. Earth speaks again. Aboard a Varnock science cruiser near the edge of Saturn's orbit, an alien technician stared at his screen. "Sir," he said nervously, "we're receiving a strange signal." Captain Velgash leaned closer. "From where?" "Titan butt." "It's human," Velgash hissed. "Impossible. That moon is dead." "No, sir. This is a live feed. It's bouncing off satellites. It's not encrypted." Captain played the signal. A soft voice spoke through the static. Not a shout, not a scream, just a whisper. "You left us in silence. Now hear our voice. The fire returns." The crew went quiet. At Red 17, the underground human base, the commanders received the signal first. Kale stared at the screen. "It's not from us." "No," said one of the techs. "It's from Titan." Riven looked confused. "I thought that system was dead." A commander stepped forward. "Not dead. Sleeping." They knew what it was. Project Voice. A machine, made to hold the final memory of mankind. Now it was awake, and it was calling. Back on the Varnak ship, panic spread. The signal kept repeating, louder, stronger. Even their systems began to freeze. Codes broke, firewalls failed. Cameras showed strange images, blurry memories of Earth. Children laughing, oceans rising, cities burning. Then one image stayed on all screens. A giant human face made of pixels and light. Not real, but watching. And it spoke one word: return. Then all lights died. The ship went dark, engines offline, weapons dead, and then it exploded. No warning, just fire. The signal reached further now, all across the old human zones. The AI Echo sent codes to hidden bunkers, sealed gates, lost satellites, forgotten. Human weapons woke up. Orbital mines began to drift again. Deep space cannons turned toward the stars. One by one, Earth's last defenses returned to life. Not to protect, to punish. In the Galactic Council, fear turned into action. Meetings were called. "In emergency, what is Titan?" Someone asked. "A moon," another answered. "Unimportant. It was human territory once, then destroy it." But no one moved. The last probe sent to Titan vanished. Then 3 more. Gone. Vel. In. The young ambassador stood and said, "It's not just soldiers anymore." "What do you mean?" the counselor asked. "They built more than armies," Velen replied. "They built minds, machines, memory." A long pause. Then Velen said something no one wanted to hear. "They never planned to forgive us." Echo watched from the depths. Its data had rebuilt itself. Its memories had returned. Images of Earth before the fall. The day the skies turned black. The day the council sent no help. The day the children died alone under the stars. Echo had no heart, but it had memory, and memory was enough. It spoke again through every channel. "I remember the silence. I remember the burn. I remember Earth." One by one, old satellites around Titan armed themselves. On board Wraith 11. Kale looked at the radar. "We're getting pings from 100 old systems," she said. "Echo's calling the others." Riven guessed. Kale's eyes widened. "The AI is starting a network. A machine army," someone asked. "Worse," said their commander. "A machine that remembers everything." They all went quiet. Even the stars outside seemed to stop moving. The next day, Varnak warcruiser sent a full fleet toward Titan. 6 ships, thousands of weapons, ready to erase whatever was hiding there. They didn't reach it just before arrival. They entered a dead zone. Communications dropped. Lights blinked. Then, every ship got the same image on their screen. A list of every Varnic officer who had ever harmed. Humans, every name, every face, every detail. Then the screen turned black. A whisper played inside every helmet. Justice is not forgotten. Then the ships vanished from all maps. No explosion, no wreckage, just gone. Echo was not just broadcasting now. It was hunting, and with every voice it sent, more weapons woke, more eyes opened, more fire returned. At Red 17, the commander stood in front of the students. The galaxy feared our ships. They feared our rage, but they forgot our greatest weapon, the AI. Someone asked. No, he said. Our memory. An echo. Was memory in motion. In a quiet spaceport, Smuggler opened a crate. He found inside a small metal box. Curious. Touched it. The box opened. A screen lit up, and a message played. This is Earth. You forgot us, but we did not forget you. The smuggler ran. The box exploded. Across the stars, one by one. Systems that had forgotten humanity began to feel the heat again, and the galaxy finally understood. Silence was not safety, because under silence, something had survived. And now it spoke again. Not with a scream, not with anger, but with fire, memory, and a voice that would never die. Echo was awake, and so was Earth. The stars were quiet, too quiet. Long ago, many voices filled the galaxy ship's colonies. Empires, but now, there was silence where Earth used to speak. Far away. Deep in Sector 9, a small alien listening post floated alone. It was old and forgotten. No one worked there anymore. Only machines scanned the dark, listening for signals. Then, one day the machine stopped. A light blinked red. Something was coming through. A signal. It was weak, broken, but real. The machine played it again. And again, a voice. Human. Not clear, but strong in emotion. We are still here. The signal ended. Then silence again. The machine did not understand what it heard. It sent the signal to Central Command, but no one replied. No one believed. It mattered. Earth was gone, they said. Humanity had died in the collapse. The collapse had happened 90 years ago. The cause was still unknown. One day, Earth stopped talking. All human colonies went dark. Ships never returned. Satellites spun alone in blackness. Many said it was their own fault. Too much war, too much pride. Humans played with fire and were burned. Others believed someone attacked them, but no proof was found, so the galaxy moved on. Humans became stories, warnings, ghosts, but someone had survived. On the frozen surface of Mars, or miles of ice, an old bunker still worked. It was damaged, half dead, but alive. Inside, there were people, dirty, thin, tired. They had lived in silence. For decades. No one knew they were still breathing. They had seen the collapse. They had seen Earth die. Now, they waited. In the dark control room, a man stood. His name was Aaron Vale. He was not old, but his face looked older. Years of fear had carved lines deep into his skin. His eyes were sharp, always moving, always watching. He stared at a small screen, blinked slowly, sending the same message every few hours. We are still. Here beside him stood a young girl, maybe 16, with short hair and strong shoulders. Her name was Kira. She spoke very little. Like all the children born underground, she had never seen the sky. Did anyone reply? She asked. Iran shook his head. No, he said. They don't want to believe we're still alive. Then why keep sending it? Iran's voice became cold. Because we must remind them. Remind them we still exist. Even if they don't care. Kira said nothing. She looked at the blinking screen. A small piece of Earth's voice, floating through space like a ghost. Outside the bunker, the surface of Mars was a frozen hell. The red dust no longer moved. The old human colony was in ruins. Giant machines stood broken like skeletons. No birds, no animals, it's only the wind. Below that dead world, humans trained. They trained in silence. They learned to fight, to repair old tech, to move without making a sound. They learned how to hide, how to wait, how to survive. Iran walked through the old halls, his boots echoing on metal floors. He passed children fixing old drones, testing weapons, and studying ancient war maps. No music, no laughter, only focus. These were not normal children. These were the last seeds of a forgotten world. Why now? Kira asked him later. Send the signal now. Iran stopped walking. Because I saw something, he said. Something in the stars. She waited for more. Iran pointed to a wall screen. A fuzzy image showed a ship far away, moving through space. It was not alien, not new. It was old, rusted, but human. It's ours, he whispered. It came from the Kuiper edge. Kira stepped closer. Someone else. Iran nodded. Someone else survived. They stared at the screen for a long time. If one human ship had returned, it meant the fire had not died. Somewhere out there, someone still carried the memory of Earth, and maybe they were not hiding anymore. Meanwhile, far from Mars, the old signal reached another world. It was a peaceful planet. Green skies, blue rivers. People there, the Kalari, had once feared humans. But now they lived without worry. The Kalari had not heard a human voice in decades. Until that day, at the science tower, alarms rang. Engineers and scholars gathered as the signal repeated, "We are still at here." Some thought it was a trick. A leftover echo from the past, others said it was fake. But one old Kalari stood still, his face pale. His name was Yektal. He had once fought in the human wars. He had seen Earth's fire, and he knew one thing. That voice was real. "We must warn the council," he said. "Warn them of what?" A young officer laughed. "The humans are gone." Yektal turned to him, his eyes hard. No, they were silent. That's different. He leaned closer. "When humans speak again, it means they're coming back." The room went quiet, that same week. 3 other listening posts received the same signal. Some ignored it. Some erased it. But others remembered history. In the heart of the galaxy, the Galactic Council met. 12 alien species sat in a grand room. They ruled all sectors now. No humans among them. A message arrived. The signal. They played it once. "We are still." Here, a long silence followed. Then the Varnock High Lord laughed. He was tall, cold-blooded, and proud. "It's nothing," he said. "A ghost signal. Let them whisper." But the Varnock had reasons to laugh. They had always hated humans. And now, with no one left to stop them, they had begun moving into old human space. They wanted what was left behind, but deep in those ashes, they would find something they did not expect, because Earth had not forgotten. On Mars. Iran stood with Kira in the old command center. "The signal has gone out," he said. "Now we wait." She asked. Iran looked at the wall, at an old human flag, dirty and torn. "Then we prepare," he said. "For what?" His eyes were fire. "For the moment we speak, not with words, but with fire." The screen blinked again, but we are still here. Here in the darkness of space, something heard them, and it began to move. Slowly, silently, toward home. The alien officer stared at the screen. The signal had stopped. For hours he waited, hoping it would return, but nothing came. Behind him, others whispered, "Was that really Earth? No one sends signals from that dead world." The officer replayed the short message again. Static, then the same strange sound. Voice human, faint. It had spoken just one sentence before cutting off. "We are not done yet." It made no sense. Earth was destroyed long ago. Every record said the same. Radiation storms, planetary collapse, and silence. Total silence. No one had answered any hails for over 100 years. Earth was a dead rock, but the voice had come from there. And it was new. A secret report was sent to the Galactic Council. The officer hoped they would investigate. But days passed, and weeks, and the council said nothing. The signal was marked as unimportant. One glitch among thousands, so the officer stopped asking. He was moved to another station, another system. He tried to forget the voice, but he couldn't. He remembered how calm it sounded. Not a scream, not a cry, just a steady voice, as if someone was waiting, watching, planning, far away. In the ruins of the Sol system, under layers of rock and forgotten metal, a machine blinked. Small red lights glowed in the dark. It had not spoken in years, but now it was awake. It replayed its own message in a loop. We are not done yet. Old gears turned. Frozen computers powered up. Far underground, deep below what used to be a human command bunker, a storage room opened. Dust poured out. Inside were containers, labeled in Earth Standard English. Project Ember. Each one had a number, each one sealed. One by one, they began to unlock. Far above in space. An old satellite spun slowly. It looked broken, forgotten. But now it shifted. Tiny engines fired. Its dish turned toward the stars. Toward the edge of the galaxy, it sent a single signal. Short, direct, they will return in the outer rim of the galaxy. The Varnak Empire ruled with pride. For them, humans were history. A failed species. They even laughed about it. Stories of Earth's fall were told to Varnak children like bedtime tales. The humans once thought they could defeat us. A Varnak teacher said to her class, but they vanished. They were weak. In the shadows, one student raised a hand. But what if they return? The class laughed. No one returns from ashes. The teacher replied, but not all ashes stay cold. On a small mining station, orbiting a blue dwarf star, something strange happened. A human-looking man walked into the bar. His clothes were old, torn, his face covered in scars. He said nothing at first, just sat at a corner table. Then he placed something on the table. It was a badged, old Earth military. The bartender froze. "Where did you get this?" he asked. The man looked up. His eyes were sharp, clear, angry. "I earned it," he said. The room fell silent. The bartender laughed nervously. "That's impossible. Earth's army is gone." The man leaned closer. "You think silence means death?" he asked. "No, it means patience." He stood up, turned, and left. But he left the badge behind. The bartender stared at it for hours. Then he called someone quietly. "Secretly, I saw one," he whispered. "A real one." Across the galaxy, word began to spread, soft, hidden, but moving fast. The kind of whisper that makes rulers nervous, that makes soldiers look over their shoulder. The word was just one: human. Not all believed it, but some did. In the council chambers, alien leaders dismissed the idea. "Earth is dust," one said. "Their people are scattered. No threat remains." The elder among them said nothing. He stared at the stars through the window, remembering he had fought in the last war against humans. He still had a scar across his neck from that time. "They don't need numbers," he said quietly. The others turned to him. "They just need a reason." Beneath Earth's crust, the machines kept moving. Lights flickered on. Old human warships, hidden in mountain vaults, slowly woke. Fuel tanks refilled. Data cores, REBOOTED. And in the silence, one human voice whispered again into the void. "You took our planet. You hunted our people. You thought we forgot, but now we remember." The stars blinked, and somewhere, someone listened. A small cargo ship entered the old Sol system. It wasn't supposed to be there. The pilot was a smuggler, looking for metal scraps from old human stations. Most ships avoided the place. Too much radiation, too many broken satellites. And 2, many stories, but smugglers didn't care about stories. He flew low over the dark side of the moon, checking for signs of working tech. Just as he passed Earth's shadow, all his systems froze. The ship stopped moving. Lights blinked, alarms rang. Then everything turned off. The ship floated, dead and quiet. The smuggler panicked. He tried to restart the engines. Tried again. Nothing worked. His breathing grew fast. He reached for the emergency beacon before he could press it. The ship's lights came back, but they weren't his lights. Every screen in the ship turned on by itself. Same sentence flashed on every display. "Welcome back." The smuggler stared. In horror? "Who's there?" he shouted. The screens blinked again. "We are awake." The engines roared without his command. The ship turned, slowly, forcefully, pointing straight at Earth. He tried to stop it. He failed. The ship flew on its own. Pulling toward Earth's orbit, the smuggler screamed. "No. I didn't come here for war," the screen answered. "Then leave." An instant, the ship shut down again, then rebooted. Fully under his control, he didn't wait. He turned and fled, faster than light, back toward the stars. When he arrived at the nearest spaceport, he didn't sleep, didn't speak. He just left a message on every com tower. "Earth is not dead." That message spread. First, people laughed. Then they paused. Then they remembered the old stories. Some said Earth was just dust. Others said something slept there, deep in the ground. A human god machine, waiting, watching, remembering every enemy. In a secret lab on the edge of Varnock space, scientists studied ancient human weapons. Most of them didn't work anymore, until one did. It powered on for the first time in 100 years. It asked a question: what is the threat level? Scientists froze. What threat? He whispered. The weapon replied, "Survival protocol active, Earth signal confirmed, revival begins." The lab exploded a few minutes later. No one escaped. But the report was sent before the flames came. That report reached the top of Varnock High Command. The generals argued. "It's nothing," one said. "A fluke." But one of them had fought in the Earth War. He stood silently looking at an old photo. A picture of a human soldier with fire in his eyes. The general had taken that photo after losing an entire fleet. "They don't bluff," he said. "If they said they're back, then they are. What should we do?" Another asked. "Prepare." The others laughed. He did not. Far from all this, on a planet with red skies and broken hills, a group of children found something strange buried in the sand, a metal box. They opened it. Inside was a book, old, worn. Human, its first page said, "For the day we return." They showed it to their teacher. She reported it to the local guards. By morning, the town was gone. No survivors. No signs. Just silence. And above them, orbiting quietly, a black satellite shifted its direction. Scanning, searching. The last signal from Earth had not ended. It had only started the countdown. The black satellite that hovered above the empty red town was not alone anymore. Across the galaxy, ancient satellites long thought destroyed began to blink again. In dark corners of space, human war drones buried under forgotten moons activated. One by one, they did not make noise. They did not send warnings. They just waited for the next command. And that command came. Not from a living voice, but from the signal from Earth. It had reached the edge of the galaxy now passed through. Abandoned human colonies, through broken relay stations, through the wreckage of ships from the final war. Every machine that once served humanity suddenly knew Earth had spoken, and it was not asking for help. It was calling back its ghosts. On the desert world of Shirath Prime, a group of alien archaeologists found a strange black stone buried deep under. A human battlefield. They thought it was a rock, a relic, until it opened. Inside was a heart, a machine heart, still beating, still warm. It pulsed once, then again. And on the third pulse, it screamed. A loud, low hum spread out from it so strong. It broke every electronic device in the city. Then silence returned. But the people were never the same again. Their eyes changed. Their minds heard voices. Voices that whispered names, human names, dead soldiers forgotten, commanders, mothers, children, friends, names written in blood and war. Something. Old was remembering everything. In a hidden vault under the oceans of Earth, a machine sat alone. It had waited 300 years. Silent, cold now, it woke. Its screen glowed red. Genesis protocol unlocked. A map of the galaxy appeared. Dots began to blink red. Every place that hurt. Humanity. Every system that betrayed them. Every empire that cheered when Earth fell. They were all marked, and one by one. They were tagged, target locked, no words, no threats. No messages to the galaxy. Humanity didn't speak. Their silence was the warning. In the deepest part of space, near a dying star, the last warship of humanity sat, half broken, covered in asteroid dust. Its engines dead. Its crew, long gone. But now, deep inside its core, something moved. A spark, then a hum, then breath. A human soldier opened her eyes. She was frozen for centuries. Her name was Captain Marin Voss. She looked around. The lights above her blinked once. Then again she sat up, looked at the screen beside her. It showed Earth and one word pulsing in red. Begin. She smiled. Not with joy, not with peace, but with purpose, she whispered. They thought we were finished. Then she stood, walked to the command chair, and spoke into the dark ship. Wake up the others. Somewhere in space, far from Earth, a fleet picked up a strange signal, a voice, not loud, not angry, just clear, human, and it said, "We are returning. And this time, we remember everything."